full-blown acceleration here with the STX. Oh my gosh. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're gonna be going over the all-new 2021 Ford F-150. This particular one is in an STX. Now, before I get into the review, I just want to mention a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Ford here in Provo for giving me some time with the new F-150. And if you guys want to see detailed reviews on all of the F-150s, I'm going to be getting those out over the upcoming weeks / months, depending on when they land. So obviously, I'll be doing the entire lineup. So please subscribe, but let's get into the video. Under the hood of the STX, we have a twin turbocharged 3.5 liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Now, power outputs are up quite a bit. So we've got 400 horsepower now, and then 500 pound-feet of torque, and then fuel economy is 18 around town, and then 23 on the highway. Let's go over the front end of the STX. So first and foremost, you guys will notice that the hood has changed just a little bit. The divot kind of comes up here just a little bit. This little part right here looks pretty much the same, but right here, all of the body lines here on the hood look a little bit different. And then the STX does come with the halogen bulbs. You do get fog lights just down below, and then the bumpers are body painted. And then notice they black out the grille to make it look a little bit sportier. And then you've got these tow hooks here at the bottom with the whole air dam system as well. But overall, even though this is like the base model package, this actually looks really good from a front end perspective. Now let's go over the tire and wheel setup. So we've got 275mm tires on 20-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And again, remember, this is like a base model truck, but look how beautiful the design is on these wheels. Definitely looks like a more premium wheel. And then here's what we can see of the front suspension here with the truck. And then notice you get the little venting right here with the F-150 STX badge. And then this does come with side steps as well. And then looking at the side of the truck itself, again, it doesn't look like crazy different from the last generation, but I've noticed that the body lines in person, everything looks a little bit sharper and a little bit cleaner from the side, so the truck overall just looks a little bit more modern. Let's go over the bed of the new F-150. So you guys can see that the bed pretty much looks the same, which is really nice. So if you're used to like all the hookups and everything and just the functionality of the bed, you're really not going to have to change all that much. Now, from a payload capacity, this particular truck has a payload of about 1,900 pounds. Now let's go over the rest of the rear of the F-150. So you've got your STX 4x4 badge right there, and then these new taillights, I wasn't so sure about them with the pictures, but seeing them in person, they look really good. They pretty much look like the Expedition taillights. I wonder if they kind of just took them and threw them on the truck. But anyways, you got your like F-150 badging right there, and then you do have parking sensors here in the rear. Now, as for the towing capacity, Ford's announced that the max towing capacity of the new F-150 is about 14,000 pounds with this 3.5. However, this truck has four-wheel drive, and it's got the bigger cab, and obviously it has some stuff in the interior, so that's going to lower the towing capacity. I couldn't find a specific amount for the towing capacity for this truck, but my guess is with all this stuff, it's probably around the 12,000 pound range. Sorry if I'm wrong on that, but that's my best guess, and that's the back of the truck. Go over the door panel here in the rear of the STX. So you can see you actually get really nice soft touch here on the side, and I love this trim here. It's definitely different. And then you still have the signature Ford door handle as well. And then here are the seats. So definitely a lot nicer than the previous generation with the seats. I love the little rivets here on the seat as well. That's definitely just a unique touch in general. And then you guys can see storage space under the seats. You still get the flat loading floor. And let's actually pop in. So step in height's actually pretty good. It's really easy to get into the truck. If you guys are around 5'11", I've got a good amount of headroom. And then, I mean, every single truck has like a ton of legroom nowadays. Then you guys can see over here, you've got USBs and then a little 12 volt as well. And other than that, here's the back of the STX. Now here's a door panel in the front of the STX. So again, you've got more of that soft touch and then the really cool trim all along the door panel. And then I love how this kind of flows together with like the lock and unlock button and all the window controls and the mirror adjustments as well. And then there's a quick look at the mirrors if you were wondering, and they are heated. And then here's the seats in the front of the STX. So again, you've got that dark cloth with the kind of like interesting riveted cloth right there, and then at the bottom as well. They are manually adjustable in this particular package. And then here's a quick look at the pedal layout there at the bottom. And then you've got your parking brake right here, your light controls in this little area. That is for your cargo light right there. The steering wheel is also manually adjustable, and there's one more look before we pop in. Here's a quick look at the steering wheel with the STX. So notice that they haven't really changed the material there on the outside since the previous generation. That is all the same, but the controls look a whole lot nicer. So you've got the controls for the center stack, you've got your controls for the radio and your phone controls, volume controls on the other side, and then notice that you do have the lane departure assistance, and then you've got the cruise control as well. And this truck also does come with collision assistance as well, which is pretty cool. And then you've got little stock for the windshield wipers and the turn signal. And then yes, this does come with a column shifter. So this is just to pop it into the manual mode if you want to shift the gears yourself, which the buttons are right there. But the actuation on the shifter is really nice. Like, it just feels really nice. It's hard to like portray on camera, but obviously you guys need to go and demo one of these so you can see what I'm talking about, but it just feels really nice. Here's the center gauge clutch. You still have all the analog gauges all around, but there in the center we have the screen. Right now we're on the calm screen, but there's a bunch of different screens you can kind of scroll through, just give you different bits of information on the truck. Nothing's really changed in terms of the information it gives you. It's just the layout's really cool. So like you can pull down the little menu to give you like shortcuts to everything, and I just love the graphics on it overall. And again, remember, this is a base model truck and it still looks really cool. We've got the center infotainment system. First off, we're going to pop it into reverse. So you guys will notice that we still have the zoom in on the receiver hitch, but notice that you've got the auto park brake. You can turn that on or off if you want, and then the parking sensors, you can turn them on or off. Most camera systems make you go and change things in the settings, whereas this, it's just all accessible right there, which is really nice. And yes, the trajectory lines do turn with the steering wheel. As for the rest of the infotainment system, you guys can see that it's Ford's newest version of their infotainment system. Response time on this infotainment system is really good. You actually do get a vehicle hotspot with this, which is pretty cool. And then there's a features tab now, which is cool. So this will show you like the driver's assistance, the towing, all that. So like I can press on the driver's assistance, for example, and it'll pull up all the stuff. So like if I don't want the pre-collision assistance on, I can turn that off, for example. So pretty cool how you can customize all of this and how they just did a little shortcut tab for that. Just down below the infotainment system, we've got our analog controls for the radio. You've got your analog climate controls. It's just a single zone climate. And then there is like a million different areas to charge devices up here. Like, you're completely covered for the rest of your life. And then we've got the trailer brakes right here, and this is pretty cool. So we've got the drive line select. So you've got your 2-wheel high, your 4-wheel high, and then your 4-wheel low, and then you push in for the locker, and then you've got the drive modes. Now this is my favorite part. So the drive modes pop up here in this little center screen right here. So if we go to the one side, you can see you've got the normal mode, the slippery, and then you've got the deep snow and sand, and then you have the mud ruts. And then if we go to the other side, we've got the tow haul, and then the eco, and then the sport. I love how they actually show like an F-150 there in the center. Obviously, it looks like they're showing a Lariat F-150 because of the chrome and all that and the LED lights, but it's still cool that they actually give you like a graphic of the truck doing what you're going into in terms of a drive mode select. Now here's the bench seat at the center. So you've got some cup holders, and then yes, you can pick it up to be a third seat. And then there is some storage just underneath the seat as well. And then there's some storage right in front of the seat on top of that. And then obviously you can just throw the seat down, have it as a little armrest. And then we've got the glove box situation, which is pretty neat. So massive glove box there on the bottom. You've got really nice trim. Again, remember, this is the base model. And then with the top glove box, you press that button to open it up. And then again, pretty good storage. But just look at like the use of material on the front of the glove box. You got on the dash and everything. And I just need to remind you guys, this is the base model truck. Now before we go up top, we do have our little auto stop start if you want to turn that on or off. This is just for the camera system to pop the backup camera on or off. And then you get your hazard lights and stability control. This is just all at the top of the touchscreen. And then popping up top with the truck, we've got the little sunglass holder right here, and then notice the black headliner with the truck as well, and it's actually really smooth to the touch. Now it is a fixed window back there, so there's no controls or anything like that up top here, but the mirror does come with a dimmer from the factory. Well, now that we're done going over the interior on this new F-150 STX, let's quickly get into the pricing, which I'm sure you guys are all curious about. So this F-150 STX, with all of the options it has, obviously the 4-wheel drive, the 3.5 EcoBoost, and everything else this has, stickers for about $48,000 before any type of market adjustment. That being said, let's take this STX out and see how she drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off here in the new F-150. So you can see visibility over the hood. It's really easy to see out of, and I actually really like the look of this new hood compared to the last one. And then here's your visibility through both of the mirrors, and then here's all throughout the rear as well. So visibility in general in the truck is just as good as all the other F-150s, and don't worry, they still have a little slope like they've always had. And something that's cool that actually just popped off the screen that I want to mention before I leave is it just asked me right when I turned it on if I want to go back into sport mode. So it gives you a chance to stay in the drive mode that you turn the truck off on, basically, which is pretty cool. And, well, let's set off. So we are initially setting off here in the 2021 Ford F-150 STX. And let's talk about the road noise and the ride quality. So I can already tell you right now, Ford has definitely refined the ride quality quite a bit. This definitely feels like a step above the current generation F-150. And if you guys aren't familiar with me, I actually have a 2020 Ford Raptor, so I'm pretty familiar with how the trucks drive in general. But yeah, this definitely feels smoother, and we'll see how the brakes are. Brakes are really nice, actually. Yeah, the brakes are really, really nice with this F-150 as well. Man, that Tacoma, though. People in Tacomas, they always drive slow. But anyways, yeah, and the handling's really good too. The steering feels a little bit different compared to the last generation too. It feels like it's just a little bit easier with the turn-in and everything, so the handling's just a little bit better. This doesn't seem like a crazy, like, oh my gosh, this is a new truck, but it seems like just everything on this truck's just a little bit nicer, and because everything's just a little bit nicer, it makes this truck as an overall package feel so much nicer. But we're popping it over into the sport mode now so we can get our acceleration. Yeah, I love the actuation on the brake pedal. It's just, it feels really solid actually, and so it just has really nice feel with it. But let's get our full-blown acceleration here with the STX. Oh my gosh. So first off, it did snow today, and so the roads are wet, and this has so much power that it does not want to get traction whatsoever. Yeah, this is quick. This feels like as quick as my Raptor almost. I mean, the torque figure is about the same, right? 500 pound-feet on this versus 510 pound-feet on my Raptor. This thing feels... Ooh! Yeah, this thing's quick. This thing is really quick. Yeah, I am super impressed with this. I'm gonna pop it back into the normal mode for the rest of today's video. But this thing is really quick. So also, if you guys are wondering, about 4,500 feet elevation. So obviously turbos are the best thing for being at high elevation. But let's get into summing things up with this new F-150. So I feel like this isn't like, again, a full overhaul. Like this isn't like it is a new truck, but at the same time, it's not like, oh my gosh, this feels like a completely different vehicle. You still get a lot of the same stuff you got with the previous generation F-150. It's just everything's nicer. The infotainment system, a little bit nicer. The exterior appearance, a little bit nicer. The interior, a little bit nicer. The drive quality, a little bit nicer. The acceleration, a little bit nicer. Everything's just a little bit nicer. And because everything is a little bit nicer, it elevates this package just that much more. Think of like Porsche when you think of this, how like Porsche, they like barely change things with their cars, but because they just barely tweak things over time, they make it into a really good product. And I feel like that's what they've done with this F-150. And so I think that Ford is definitely on its way to having just like it. This is a really good truck. That's all I gotta say. So I'd check one out. That is gonna sum things up for our video on this 2021 Ford F-150 STX. And again, please subscribe if you're looking for more content on the new F-150s. But as always, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry H. Miller Ford Lincoln here in Provo for giving me some time with the truck. Check out their inventory in the link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.